Hello Boro fans, Jimmy Lees here, Boro Fan TV. Latest edition of the third half, and I'm back this week. You had AJT in, the scourge of Leeds United in last week, but a familiar fat round face of mine today. And I got a familiar face this week as well. So this week's guest is Rob Nichols from Fly Me to the Moon. Rob, thanks for joining us.
Nice to be asked.
Thanks for coming on, mate. So it's safe to say Rob is one of the longest standing Boro fans. What were the statute towns in regard to missing games, Rob?
I've missed one game at the Riverside
in
1999, and I missed one game away from home in that time as well. In 1998, sorry, that was. Yeah.
So it was a sticky 2-year period.
Yeah, it was
for you,
bad.
Yeah, bet you weren't feeling too good then, eh? Brilliant. So yeah, for anyone who's unaware, Fly Me to the Moon is safe to say the original voice of the fans. So we've obviously got other media outlets such as ourselves now, but Fly Me to the Moon was the original. Fans' opinions, views, anything like that. Rob, you're coming up your 30th year, Fly Me to the Moon.
Yes, that's right. It's I didn't start it. A guy called Andy Galandi, as he styled himself. Andy Smelt started it with another guy called Robbie Bull. I took over in the early 90s, but it's unbelievable. It's just started just as a photocopied thing that 50 people bought, and it's become part of people's match day ritual, I hope.
Yeah, well, I think it is, to be fair. You always see them there every match day, to be fair. How many copies would you say you sell every match?
Not that many now. I think we peaked once about 2,500 or something like that.
Yeah.
And now we sell in the hundreds, and mostly actually to subscribers, people getting them through the post.
Yeah, that's the biggest part of it. And also, I dare say a few fans watching this now as well, Rob. Your message board seems to be a hotbed of all activity. Some football, some not.
Absolutely,
I remember getting slated for bringing up a football conversation once upon a time on the message board, Rob. But what was it you're telling us? Million hits per week on there?
Yeah, just over that really. And I think, you know, that what you said about the football and not, I think that's been the key to it, actually. The fact that anything goes is the reason why it's survived so long, you know, and it's another heart of a community in a way.
Yeah, definitely. I think Teesside, what's good, it connects, because a lot of expat Boro fans are all around the country, and you see them very prominent on Twitter. You see them very prominent Fly Me to the Moon as well. I think you need outlets such as Fly Me to the Moon for that.
Yeah.
What's been your proudest moment of Fly Me to the Moon over the years, Rob?
Well, I think it's just that being able to keep going and getting people coming up to you when you're selling, saying thanks very much, and it really makes my weekend. And also being able to, if somebody has passed away or something significant has happened, that you can do something, you can give a tribute to somebody. So things like that, really.
Yeah, so it's pretty community aspect of it, and also it's nice to have a pat on the back, because it makes all the hard work worthwhile.
And a lot of people, quite a few people have been kind of launched through writing, and that come writers. Daniel Gray has written lots of books, and Bob Fisher was on the radio now. His first stuff was through Fly Me to the Moon.
Was it really?
That sort of thing. Yeah.
Is that why you're always on Bob's show then, Rob?
Well, we all became friends through it, and so lots of us only met through, and it was anonymous in those days. It would come through the post, and stuff would be actually handwritten. That's how far back we go.
Jesus Christ, yeah. That's a hell of a difference. What's been probably the best piece of content you say you put through Fly Me to the Moon that's been well received? What's been...
Well, things like Donkey Watch column have just gone on for years and years, and in fact that was so successful that a national newspaper asked, Bob Fisher who started it, they asked him to write it for them as well.
Class.
So that's great, and Rufus the Boro Dog, who's just made his comeback. Made his comeback last season. He's been a sort of long-running cartoon strip, and I always like the way that he managed to sum up what's going on that week.
Good stuff, mate, good stuff. So anyone... We'll have another talk about how you can get Fly Me to the Moon as well, but all sellers outside the Riverside every home game as well. But what we'll do as well... Oh, actually, no, there's one more question that came in as well on Twitter, Rob. Someone's asked where the name Fly Me to the Moon comes from, because not everyone knows this.
No, absolutely, no. That's right. This comes back from the 80s. The fanzine started in 1988, and I think it was that time we... for those not aware, the club almost went bust in 1986. Came within a few minutes of going bust. We weren't allowed to sign any new players or anything like that, so there was a real sort of togetherness. Just young players playing, and we got 2 promotions in a row because we'd been relegated to what was the 3rd division, and it all sort of galvanised around the manager Bruce Rayok and his skipper Tony Mowbray, and he said, if he had to go to the moon, which was unlikely, to go to the moon, he would like Tony Mowbray by his side, that he was his rock. So that's how it came from that.
Brilliant.
Using the song.
That's it. So people who didn't know, there's been a few people mentioned on Twitter. That's the reason why, and it makes perfect sense now as well. Now, Rob, we're going to try and get know you a little bit more now as a Boro fan, to be fair. And out of everyone who's done these quick fire fan questions so far, yours is one I'm looking forward to more, because I dare say there'll probably be a few obscure answers and things I won't even remember myself when I ask you these, Rob. So I'm looking forward to this. Right. Favourite ever player play for the Boro?
When I was a kid, it was John Hickton. Everybody wanted to be John Hickton.
Yeah.
Every five-a-side or every sort of 3 pots and you're in or whatever.
Yeah,
John Hickton was the man, and then it was Juninho after that.
Yeah, fair play. John Hickton, I think I never got to see him play, but I wish I did. Everyone speaks so highly of him. Favourite ever match as a Boro fan? Now the list takes some thinking.
I know, absolutely. There's quite a few, but it has to be the Story of Bucharest.
Yeah.
The end of it, and as you know, been to all the games. And then we had come back from the impossible the night against Basel.
Yeah.
And then went out to Bucharest and we got beaten in Bucharest. But they were celebrating. Yeah. They were celebrating out there. Yeah. And it made you think. Yeah. That's a bit early to celebrate. But then it just it got beyond us, didn't it? That night, and then. And of course we've got the words written on the wall now from Alistair Brownlee forevermore. So it's still so that game, the spirit of that game, still inspires us.
Yeah, I think so. I think any Boro fans from that generation and back will always remember that game. I think it's. I was 21. No, I was coming up 21 when that happened. So it was like I was so fairly young when that happened, and I'll never forget that. I'll never forget that. It wasn't my usual season ticket seat. We were in the north-east corner for that game, top row as well. But it was superb. I wore an Alkmaar shirt that I swapped with an Alkmaar fan when I was there as well that game. So I thought, like, no, we might be going out your way for cup tonight, and we might not be in it for a while. So I'm going to wear a little memento of it. And I left the stadium at half time and I walked halfway down the east stand, but I just thought, do you know what, something's going to happen here. So I walked back in, because they didn't serve booze, did they, for UEFA Cup matches? So I got a lemonade and a pie, watched the highlights of the first half and went back to my seat, and obviously the rest is history.
If you'd have gone.
I know, if I'd have gone, I'd never forgive myself. It would have been, because I know a few lads went straight to the Navy afterwards, but I thought, nah, something might happen, and obviously it did. Favourite ever goal? Would it be the macaroni goal from that?
Well, yes, because of what it meant, and just an incredible and impossible goal. It was obviously Juninho's goal against Chelsea that was on Match of the Day, I think, where he finished it with a diving header, and a few other goals by him. But yes, the macaroni really. Yeah,
it's hard to say otherwise, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not regard to quality goals. It was a quality goal. It's just what it meant, isn't it?
Yeah.
Worst player you've seen for Boro, and I bet there's been a few, Rob.
Yeah, but it's defining that, isn't it? You just sort of, I thought, like, I remembered back and we were talking to you about John Eustace when he came as a lone player, and it's a bit unfair because his career basically lasted a few minutes. He got booked.
It's like 10 minutes.
Yeah, he got booked at Liverpool, wasn't it?
Yeah, Liverpool.
And never played again. And then someone's reminded me about. Was Alan Wright, of course. It was always brilliant against us. Little fullback of Villa. And we signed him and he just couldn't put a foot right, could he?
No, he was bad. Yeah,
he just had a nightmare every game. It didn't last very long.
No, he didn't. No. He was. Didn't he end up going to Rangers after us? No, sorry, he was going to go to Rangers. He signed for us instead, wasn't he?
Right.
I think it was something like that about Wright.
It just seemed like a great signing because he did always torture us, but he was appalling when he played.
Yeah, he really was. He really was. Best value for money signing, Rob.
Well, we've got to go back again. John Hickton came for virtually nothing. Bernie Slaven, of course, famously came for 30,000 quid, which was unbelievable. And I suppose out of the current crop, George Fenn was £100,000 and is amazing. In the current market, that is an absolute steal, isn't it? Especially what he's brought for us as a club. I know the lad's struggling for form at the moment, but what he's brought was as a player and also on and off the pitch, I think. Absolutely.
£100,000 money well spent. Best away day you've had, Rob?
Well, actually, I'm going to go back, sort of historic one again. I'm going to go back to the Lenny Lawrence first season, Lenny Lawrence, and we went to Wolves. The game was delayed because it was supposed to be like there was possible explosive devices in the pitch.
Oh, right, nice.
So we didn't set off till
Not
late.
Johnny
so
Hendry, no.
It was no. It was actually gun cartridges buried in the pitch. Yeah, the game was delayed, but we got the go ahead. We went down there. We went 1-0 down. We got a player sent off. We came back and won 2-1. Jamie Pollock and John Gittins, I think, were the scorers, and we got promoted. And everybody was on the pitch with Lenny Lawrence on. pictures of him on people's shoulders and stuff
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
class.
So I'll go back to that one. That's
And that got
different
his
one.
first year of the Premier League, wasn't it? That we got
Yes.
promoted to.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. Best away day pie.
I was. I'm struggling a bit with this. I don't always eat that pies too often, but I was like the Lancashire ones. Although butter pies are strange. Why haven't they got any meat? But it's places like Preston, good pies, and Blackburn.
Yeah, they do. The Lancashire one's definitely the best away day pint.
Well, I drive most matches.
Oh, well, you
but
can.
I'm going to go. But when I don't drive, it's Brighton because they're the first club that I've been to where they have the bar after the game, and they put the beer on from the visiting clubs.
Ah, right.
So
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, they tailor the whole away end. They put food on, so when we go, there's Palmos.
Yeah, I saw
and
they were doing
have
Palmos for Brighton,
Cameron's beers and stuff like that.
Oh, nice. That's good. That's good. Fair play. It's nice to see football teams do that.
Yes.
Favourite Boro kit, Rob?
Well, I think it's for most people, it's got to be the band.
Yeah.
And also the one with the blue and black stripes is always that John Icton wore when we beat Sunderland at home, and he scored 2 penalties. It was really, really weird. The FA Cup, even as a home team in those days, you could be asked to change your kit.
Oh, right.
So we played in blue and black at home.
Yeah.
And he scored the 2 penalties that made him a legend because the run-up is amazing.
Yeah.
He's just so far he runs up. And he said that actually that the keeper was just absolutely quaking by jumping. and then he played. He actually places
Just
it with
placed
his,
it.
Yeah. But you know, it's just such a long run-up.
Strikes fear into the keeper. Best stadium you visited?
You know, obviously, I've been to a few stadiums, but I've got to go because of the day and because of the atmosphere and the music and everything and what it represented. Got to go for the Millennium Stadium in Cardiff.
Yeah, I think I remember every single song that was played after that. Yeah, it was. I remember dancing to was it Ash Baby Burn Baby Burn was on? Or was it after? Then there was Status Quo rocking all over the world.
Yeah.
There was Tintin Out, Strings for Yasmin.
And that was the start.
That was as we
wasn't
lifted the
it?
stair. It was. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, it's mad how you think of the music from that.
No, but that was part of it because the roof's closed,
yeah.
isn't it? And the atmosphere is quite incredible. And, it was a special sort of cup. They really made an effort because they had the cup finals for those few years.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they didn't have quarter town to be fair, didn't they? It was a hell of a game as well.
Yeah.
Saddest moment as a Boro fan, Rob. I bet you've seen a few of them as well.
Oh yeah. You know, when I was at sixth form, we got beaten in the FA Cup by Wolves in a replay, and you knew as you were travelling back that it was the beginning of the end of an era. We'd been in the old First Division for many years, and the team broke up after that. Players like Craig Johnson went and David Armstrong, and the whole town was depressed.
Yeah.
But then we've had some other ones. Obviously, Juninho on his knees at Leeds. That relegation again. What did it represent? With 2 cup finals and a defeat. What might have been.
That's what a lot of people say about that season.
Yeah,
the players that were lined up to potentially come to Middlesbrough. That point could have really put us on the map, couldn't it? But that is a sad moment. But like you say, I'm guessing back the day we've been in the first season for so long. You see the beginning of the end. That's what I thought on the Southgate train, to be honest. Yeah. And you see the players with signs like something's happening here, like some Boateng and Mark Schwarzer going and things like that. Because I know everything FC been doing the 12 Days of Boro recently. Right. When they've had George Boateng and Mark Schwarzer on recently, part of it was like when those two went, it felt like it was an end of an era for Boro. Because we had a good period during that. It's fair
Absolutely, to say. People forget the first couple of seasons of Gareth Southgate. It wasn't. We didn't decline straight away.
No, I didn't know.
It was 3 seasons, wasn't it, when we got relegated?
Yeah, it was, yeah. Funniest moment as a Boro fan?
Well, I remember something quite obscure, really. It was in the UEFA Cup where we played Graz, and it was a dark night, really cold night in Austria, and they were a very good team. Yeah. And they really fancied it. Their fans were really up for it. And then their striker, he got sent off, and it was a turning point. And as he was sent off, he was going absolutely mad. He was going mad with officials and everything. And he tripped over. He tripped over and fell flat on his face as he was coming off, shouting at everybody. So that was
class. I don't remember that happening, Robert. I didn't see that on the telly. I didn't go there.
You wouldn't see it on telly, but it was there. Yeah.
Brilliant. Where do you think Boro finish this season?
Well. obviously week by week it changes completely, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
I'm really hoping that we can finish in, at the very least in the playoff zone, and it's an important few weeks now.
Yeah,
that's what I'm hoping.
When you play football, Rob, if you could compare yourself to any Boro player, who would it be?
Well,
past or present?
Yeah. My footballing was absolutely appalling. But all I can say is if I compare myself with the fanzine, then I got to compare it to somebody like Robbie Mustoe, who just kept going.
just kept going
just try to be just consistent. He just saw people off, Brian Robson came in, Emerson came in, but Robbie Mustoe stayed in the team.
Yeah, I know.
That's what I want.
No matter who we signed during that period, Robbie Mustoe was there.
Yeah, he was.
Fair play to him. So let's see what questions we've got coming in there as well. Jacob Ross, how do you feel the team has fared in your opinion from a Magellan perspective, and would you deem it success so far or major room for improvement, Rob?
I thought that I went to the press conference last week with Gary Monk, and he was talking about we had to win on Saturday, and he wasn't ducking out of that fact, and we did. And I felt, sitting there, thought, I haven't really seen what Gary Monk's about. Yeah. I didn't really see that in pre-season, and I still haven't seen any full game where I thought that's what he's bringing to this. Yeah. So we've disappointed massively, but I'm hoping he called for a turning point on Saturday, and it's very early. We've got to now sustain this at Millwall. We've actually seen a good home performance now, and we've seen a few ingredients there of what maybe Gary Monk's about.
What he can do. Yeah, I think so. I think it's a fair point that. Mark James Wilson, should Bamford be in the first 11?
Oh, well,
I think we'll go into your 1 to 11 soon. We'll answer that one for you soon, Mark. Phil Conway's mentioned probably this in regard to Saturday. Got to say, great to see a professional performance. And over the moon, Bamford got a chance to prove his worth. Been crying out for it to be given a chance. I think a lot of Boro fans have as well, haven't they, to be fair. Yeah. That brings on, to be honest, we'll talk about Saturday's match. So, when we were speaking before Saturday, Rob, we were wondering, right, is this going to be a tricky show to come on to? Are we going to be coming on to some news in regards to Gary Monk being sacked or whatnot? But it's morale-boosting win on Saturday, wasn't it? And one thing you've touched on it there, Rob, have we seen potentially an identity of what Gary Monk's about on Saturday? I know it's only one game. I think you need to see it in a run, but I think we looked like a team, didn't we, on Saturday?
Yes, we did. And I think Bamford was central to that, because I think he buys room for the other forwards. But we didn't concede a goal again, which was as important as scoring those two. Yeah. Andy Campbell said at half time, didn't he? Prediction was 3-0. Yeah. And we should have done that.
We should have. We were lucky not to be fair. No.
But there was only one team in it.
Yeah, there was. Yeah. I mean, Ipswich. I don't know whether it was because they were poor or we were that good. I know a few fans are saying, "Oh, it's just like Birmingham City," but Ipswich were above us in the league.
There were, and that was very important, wasn't it? That was something that people have been talking about, that we can't beat anybody above us or around us, and we did that.
Yeah, we done it on Saturday, and I think if that doesn't boost morale, I don't know what will. One thing I usually do, to be fair, is I usually talk about match stats and things like that, but I just want to have a shout out to Boro Stats. Unfortunately, a Twitter account, fantastic Twitter account. The guy's on very well at the moment, so just to get well soon to yourself there. Yeah, get well soon. Because his stats are invaluable for me as a Boro fan, because that's where I get most of my geeky knowledge, and it's when I have conversations. I know most of my stuff. It's because of him. It's not because I know it. It's just because I read it there. A few things in regards to the match as well is we saw the House and Leadbitter partnership back in as well on Saturday, and I think that's invaluable personally. I think they are our two best midfielders. I mean, what's your thoughts on that, Rob?
Yeah, I think they've got the blend in that Leadbitter's obviously got phenomenal work rate, and you can see Howson's. He's going to make mistakes because he's being asked, isn't he, to intercept and to pass the ball forward quickly and to burst through. I think Adam Forshaw's a really good asset to have on the bench, because he can change the tempo of the game. And I don't know whether Leadbitter's rested sometimes because he needs to rest.
Maybe it's a tough season in the Championship. We all know that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Clayton can do the job, and I think he will do it. I think Clayton hasn't been frozen out for good. I think obviously he thinks Clayton or Leadbitter, doesn't he? Yeah. Which is what a lot of people have said in the past seasons.
Shout, yeah. It's a fair shout. I mean, I remember it was now promotion season. A lot of fans are calling for Leadbitter to get dropped for Adam Forshaw.
That's right.
But now it's Leadbitter who's indispensable. Now if people saying drop Howson for Clayton. Clayton or bring Forster in. Like, nobody really knows, but one thing's for sure, I think Johnny Howson's like huge for us at this current time. You say he might lose a ball from time to time, but I think the passes he plays forward are invaluable, and that's something we haven't had much from the midfield over the last couple of years.
That was the best midfield performance of the season, wasn't it? I think they did dominate.
Oh,
and
massively,
we've really been waiting for that.
Yeah, we have. I think we have, and I think they covered a lot of ground, the two of them, and we kept the ball quite well, and they didn't stand a chance against them too. One thing I thought on Saturday as well is it was getting a bit tetchy in the first half. I think we scored at the right time. So I think if we didn't score in the first half, Rob, I think the crowd would have been on the players' backs. I think the players would have felt that as well, wouldn't they?
Yes, but if we flip back to the Derby game, and that was a ridiculous save from Scott Carson from Sambolonga. I just wonder what the difference would have been if that goal had gone in.
Yeah, definitely.
Obviously, Vidra loves playing against Middlesbrough.
Yeah, he does.
But without a doubt, that it was very timely to score that goal right on half time.
Yeah.
Because just in Derby we created a lot of chances, but then in the second half we did fall apart with self-inflicted errors, really. It
is, and I think what's important for our team now, Rob, from watching us so far this season, is if we're looking for a kind of identity from Gary Monk, we've only seen one late goal, haven't we? Fulham away.
Yeah, that's right.
We need to score early doors, really, to kind of get a grip on the team, and then confidence gets in. I think if we concede early on, I think we're quite likely to concede another goal as well, because we might leave ourselves a bit open.
If you remember, we had that passage of the season when we just kept conceding the first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
If we didn't concede a goal, we conceded a man, like getting sent off at the start, and we did come through that. But that we were really nervous, weren't we, because of that. But yeah, you're right. We and funny enough, we did show the character at that time.
Yeah, we did.
We constantly having to come back.
Yeah. We're fighting back, like we fight the Fulham game, Barnsley away.
We now need to see that we don't need. Well, we hopefully will keep scoring first anyway.
Yeah, fingers crossed. I think Millwall will certainly be a stern test of that. And because of that, to be fair, one thing I will say: the second half on Saturday, in regards to the crowd, they certainly came alive second half, especially after Bamford's goal.
Yep.
I think the crowd were feeling relaxed.
Yes.
And that then brought out the players. The players then felt relaxed, a bit more confident, and try a few things in the middle of the park. The defenders a little bit more relaxed, apart from Ayala, who still, I think he wanted to get sent off again on Saturday. I don't think he wants to play football anymore, bless him. It wouldn't surprise me if his mum writes a letter for him not to play this Saturday. I just don't think he wants to play anymore, but that's a conversation we're up and here. Right, I'm going to bring up your 1-11 on the screen now, Rob.
Okay.
Gav will be putting that on for you Boro fans out, have a look through. It's a complete no-brainer, and I'd agree with every single thing on this. 1-11, exactly the same as Saturday.
Yeah.
There's no reason to change that, is there? Patrick Bamford's come with the team, playing that kind of ghost number 10 position, and he was fantastic Saturday, wasn't he?
It was a Premier class performance, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
It was like flipping it back a couple of years and you feel for him. I think all the fans feel for what's happened to him since that playoff season, and that was just a quality finish. Yeah. But the whole performance, he's just so aware, and as I said earlier, he buys other players space, and he's full of invention. And you put him alongside Sambolonga and Braithwaite and Downing. They're all classy players.
They're all clever footballers, aren't they? They're very, very clever footballers. And the same you said about Ledbetter and Howson as well, to be fair. Yeah. They're all clever footballers. They've all... I mean, Johnny Howson's captained in the Premier League, you know. He's got like Braithwaite in international football. Stuart Downing's been a top-class Premier League football for a long time. They're all good footballers. Yeah. Patrick Bamford was great talent at Chelsea, and you can see that when he's feeling confident, Patrick Bamford, he's unstoppable in this league. And when he gets that smile back and he gets that swagger back, he's going to be unstoppable. And I think, absolutely right, put him in that number 10 position, but no, give him freedom to try and make space in behind. Because, like you say, he'll create space for other players, and then Braithwaite will come a little bit more central. Downing can. One shout out, I probably shout it out every week, but Stuart Downing's got a smile on his face now. He looks like he's really enjoying this football.
Oh, yeah. People were on his back constantly. And Downing doesn't... If Downing passes back, it's because it's not... He's sort of caressing the ball, he's keeping the ball circulating. It's not such a big deal for me about whether you pass square. You don't just want to lump it forward all the time.
No, of course you don't. Rob. No, it's that was one of my biggest gripes for football fans, is the ones that constantly shout forward. Every pass doesn't have to go forward. No, it doesn't. But no, I think Stuart Downing's been superb this season. I really do. See if there's any Facebook questions on there. Here's one. Mark Wilson's actually, if you could bring one player back into this team now, who would it be? And Mark has mentioned about Albert Adoma.
Yeah, well, Albert Adoma was... I just thought it was an absolutely ridiculous decision to sell him when we sold him. He'd just done that great cross against Stoke City to set off the first goal of the season for Negredo. So just didn't understand that.
I didn't know. It didn't make any sense to me whatsoever. No sense whatsoever.
He could play the left and the right, and he scores goals. And there's not many wingers that do constantly chipping with goals.
And does the defensive work as well.
Yes, he did.
I'll put my quid in now. Under Karanka, he wanted that from his wingers. And Albert Adone was superb at that, wasn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was a tremendous amount of work defensively as well on either flank. Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah. One thing, obviously, we've done the 1-11 there, Rob, and Championship is definitely a squad thing. Boro fans have an absolutely huge obsession with players that aren't in the team.
Yeah.
And I don't know how I've seen it as long as I've been a Boro fan, and you probably have as well, Rob. So we'll have a little bit of chat about the bench now. A lot of players are saying Adam Clayton's unlucky to not find himself in the team.
Yeah.
Now, I think you've got to ask yourself, is he as good as the other two would playing there in the moment? I'll probably say no. And then in the same breath, what's Adam Clayton going to do when bringing him off the bench? I think he's got to work on getting in the first 11 rather than being on the bench.
Yeah, and obviously he started a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
I don't think it was his fault. I don't think it was anything to do with his fault, that the fact that we had a really bad defeat. I think you're absolutely right. He's not on the bench because he's not going to win. He's not the sort of player to bring on to influence the game. I think he's been a superb player for Middlesbrough in the past, and I still think he will be in the future. I think he'll. If he gets his chance ahead of Ledbetter, which Ledbetter will probably get suspended,
then there's a good chance of that. Yeah.
Yes, then you could imagine Clayton playing out of his skin because he will.
Now, I've been quite critical of Adam Clayton this year because
he had a couple of bad games.
He's had more than a couple this season.
Know that.
Yeah, and I thought last season he was quite poor as well. He got found out in the Premier League, which a few players did, to be fair. What I'd like to see is Adam Clayton graft his puns off on the training ground and come back and be a better player.
Right.
And I'd like to see that happen because in our promotion season, he was outstanding, absolutely outstanding. But I think he got found out last season. This season, he just doesn't look like he's got an ounce of confidence in him whatsoever. And I think that slows our team down quite a lot. So, yeah, I'd like to see, if he comes in, show me something. I don't think he showed him in the games he came back in. But I'd like to see him show me something. And I'm critical of him because I want to see Boro play the best football possible. I don't think we can with Adam Clayton, the current Adam Clayton in this form.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because Adam Clayton that played for Huddersfield, in the same way that like Nicky Bailey was an attacking midfield player, and he was a high-scoring midfield player as well. Yeah. And then we adapted him, changed him into what he is.
We can coach goals out of anyone. Let's be honest, we're quite good at that. There's also one player, if you're thinking of someone to come off the bench in the middle of the park, Lewis Baker has not been anywhere in our squad for a long, long time now. No. Can he count himself unlucky? Do you think there's something happened there? Maybe is he fell out with Monk or what? What's happened?
If you remember, he did have a few games coming on as substitute.
Yeah, when he first came, didn't he?
Yeah, whether he did manage to influence games or not, I'm not sure he did really, and that could be just exactly as you said about Clayton. Yeah. He's a player that comes on and maybe doesn't have the capacity to change things. Yeah. I asked the question of Gary Monk at the press conference last week about the fact that, as a positive for him, he doesn't ever seem to close the door on players. You think of Stuart Downing?
Yeah.
We just mentioned Clayton coming back a couple of weeks ago. Fabio, George Friend came in, got a good chance. So I think I don't think anything's happened. I think it must be very hard to keep everybody happy, especially if the team's not winning. But I think that he does. I think that everybody knows they've got the opportunity to come in. Yeah. And obviously Baker came in the first place, having played really well in the League Cup.
Yeah. Which
I thought that was really, really good. That made a big difference.
That was and Fabio as well, wasn't it?
Yes.
Because they came in from playing well in the League Cup. And I think that's a good point with Gary Monk. He does give players a chance, and long may that continue.
And even young players.
Yeah, young players as well. Let's see if any more questions coming in. There's not too many sensible ones. I'm just getting a bit of stick as usual. One thing, if we were talking this time last week, we would have been talking about the rumours that Gary Monk was getting let go. Yeah. And Neil Warnock was lined up. Do you think with this win on Saturday, he's... I know Neil Warnock, don't mate. I couldn't think of anything worse. Do you think Monk has bought a little bit of time now with Boro fans with that win on Saturday?
Yes. I don't think that... I still think it's too early to get rid of a manager. I just look at all the other teams in the division and teams that struggle season after season, and I think of like Derby and Nottingham Forest. They just change the managers far too quickly. They don't give anyone enough chance. I'm hoping that we've now seen a glimpse of what Gary Monk can do, and I want him to be successful because everybody a lot of people in football rated him when we picked him up, and surely it's better to work with what you've got.
I agree. I'd like to see Gary Monk stay. I mean, I was a big call of when we sacked our previous manager. I was like, get Gary Monk in now. That's what I wanted, because seeing the job he was done in Leeds, I thought he'd done a good job at Swansea. I know there was a fan I was on the phone with on BBC Tees last week that he was saying about how he ruined Swansea, ruined Leeds United. I don't know where he reads his stuff. Bless him. If he's watching now. But yeah, I think I'd like to see Gary Monk be a success at Middlesbrough Football Club. He's a young English manager. If I'm being honest, I think there's one thing that Gary Monk is missing. I think he's missing a really strong assistant manager. I really do. Someone who can, someone tactically who can give him a difference of opinion or something like that. I'd like to see Gary Monk have that, or even like an experienced manager's assistant.
We haven't had an assistant for a long time.
No, we haven't. No, it has been a while, mate. So yeah, maybe that's what's missing. That might come in January. You never know. Would you say the automatic places are out of reach now, Rob? Safe to say that?
I think. I just think we've got to we've got to go to Millwall. It's that ridiculous thing about we have to take each match as it comes. We've got to build on this and then think about that after Christmas. If we can get a bit of momentum going. If you think back to when Burnley last got promoted, they came from quite a long way back.
They did.
I think this famous one was Norwich many years ago, coming from absolutely nowhere, and a few teams have. But you've got to sort of start the ball rolling, and people start to underestimate you. And so I'm not going to talk about promotion now. Fair
enough. Yeah, obviously Burnley that season. I remember the Norwich season you mentioned as well, and Reading done it as well a few years back.
Yeah, that's right. Yes,
I think it's about putting a run together at the right time, and now's the time to put a run together. But hopefully we don't have our usual January slump. I mean, going into Millwall and the teams and the games come up as well, Rob. We've got 4 very, like you say, fairly tough fixtures. There's 2 nice home games in there as well, Rob. But Millwall, a team at hard to beat at the moment, safe to say.
Yeah, we've got a good record there.
We have got a very good record there.
Especially in recent years.
Yeah, so it's certainly a place we can go and win, isn't it? Yeah,
you've got to sort of beat the atmosphere sometimes as well as beat the players as well as the team. But they are quite strong at home without a doubt.
Well, they're hard to beat. I mean, they got a point at Aston Villa at the weekend as well, and they don't concede too many goals. But I dare say, if we have Patrick Bamford playing like he did on Saturday and shoot it down, we've got enough to open up, haven't we?
Yeah, it was. I think it was the last time we won well. There was Bamford and Vossen destroyed them.
Yes,
that was the last Boro hat trick, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yellow Vossen.
Yeah, Yellow Vossen. Yeah.
So I love a repeat
of
that.
Lovely Van Basten-esque goal, didn't he? Volley with a left foot. Yeah.
That was just before Christmas, I think.
I think it was. It was his first goals for Boro, but it was a hat trick. So I was like, he's doing all right then. Yeah, that'll do for us. Prediction for Millwall on Saturday?
I'd love to get a 2-0 victory again, just like we did.
Clean sheet,
So Somberlonger and Bamford.
Fair play, mate, fair play. Rob, shout out to Flying at the Moon. Now, obviously, a lot of fans know they can buy this before the match on a match day as well. How else can people buy Flying at the Moon?
If you click on the website that you mentioned, fmttm.com, and click on subscribe, then I've just set it up so that you can do subscribe from the next match, which is Boxing Day against Bolton for the rest of the season.
And you've got a half-season ticket.
Yeah, that's right. And I'll send you a Christmas card as well.
Brilliant. There we go. Who wouldn't want a Christmas card off Rob? Fantastic. Right. So, big shout to Flying at the Moon. Get on the website, get on the message board and buy this. It's good crack. It's a good laugh, to be fair. It's nice light heart reading. On a match day, even if we get beat, it's something to cheer you up a little bit as well. We will be, as we said, begin the season. We're at every single game, home and away this season. And that includes Millwall on Saturday. So Guesty Gav and the Scourge of Leeds United, AJT, will be there as well. So look out for them guys and view your opinions, positive or negative, after the match as well. It's Jimmy Leeson, Boro Fan TV. Thanks for joining us. See you soon.